I want to come to another program, campaign that has taken up some of your time and energy recently, Sadhguru, that has also caught a lot of attention. Since we're in Tamil Nadu, and I'm sure everyone in this room has also seen it. It's your campaign to save the temples of Tamil Nadu. They run into the many thousands. You've compared what's happened with the East India Company. You say that there is no reason why these temples shouldn't be taken care of by devotees, and that you need to remove them from the, as you say, the stranglehold of government control. Can you tell us about how this campaign actually started, where it stemmed from, and what do you hope to achieve by it?
See, I am not a daily temple-going kind of person. I may not visit a temple in a year or 2 years. If at all, if I go, something draws me because if I find the temple is powerful or it's beautiful because of its architecture, and I'm a little bit of an engineering freak, if I find there is some engineering magic out there, it draws me. Otherwise, if it's energetically charged, I want to go there. I'm not a praying person, first of all. I've never prayed in my life till today. This may be very shocking for a lot of people. I've never uttered a prayer. Well, there are invocations, practices, because yoga sees life as a way of enabling yourself, not as a way of calling out for help. Calling out for help doesn't exist in the yogic culture. We are only saying how to enable ourselves, equip ourselves to live this life to the fullest possible way. So, but because I've traveled extensively, at one time I crisscrossed India on my motorcycle. Later on I've driven all over India. So naturally, especially if you travel in Tamil Nadu, temple is not just another place. Temple is the heart of the town. It is because of the temple, town exists. It's not because people lived there, a temple came. No, because a temple came up, then the town happened. And they're magnificent in the way it's been done. People, I don't know how many people understand this, nowhere else in the world has granite stone been carved as it's been carved in Tamil Nadu. I've traveled everywhere in the world, every continent, I've seen every monument that is there. Nobody has carved granite stone the way we have carved it here. For example, you come from Karnataka. In Karnataka there are exquisite temples, but all done with soapstone. Soapstone is like wood, you can just carve it like this. With a chisel, you can just do it with your hand. You don't need a hammer to do that. But carving granite to intricate design is not a joke. We have done enormous amount of work with granite now in the yoga center. We know what it takes. Today with all the trucks, cranes, machines, every kind of machine we have. When men did this just out of sheer hands, sheer human effort, I bow down to those men 1,000, 2,000 years ago. What kind of people are these? And they didn't do this for livelihood. What is it that's burning in their hearts? So this culture is a land of devotion. Because we saw, when you have devotion in your heart, you're at your best. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and in terms of your energy, you're at your best. You will do things what human beings think is impossible to do. So we did not look at human well-being as just economics. We did not think that if you just have a nice house and you have a job and you have money, you will be fine. Well, Western societies are proving that you will not be fine if you have all those things. But here, we were well. For us, our economic well-being was a consequence of our spiritual richness. But now what has happened? Well, I can tell you 1,000 because right now we are documenting a little over 1,000 temples as an example. Our volunteers are going and taking videos and documenting what's happening. If you see it, it's heart-rending. Tremendous works of art and architecture just being vandalized, destroyed, cannibalized, used to build other buildings. As UNESCO says, Tamil Nadu temples are in a state of decay, a serious decay. And the numbers, I've already put it out, but if I have to say it, All this came to fore for me. It's been in my mind, our volunteers have been attending to a few important temples, every Sunday mornings going and cleaning the temples, all this kind of stuff has been done. This is all nominal stuff, this is not going to really change. Some small change it'll make. But in the month of July in 2020, Tamil Nadu government submits to the High Court, Chennai, Madras High Court. You're not supposed to call it Chennai High Court, it's a Madras High Court.
Yes.
We spend a lot of time on these kind of things. In the Madras High Court, they presented this, saying that 11,999 temples, not even a single puja is happening because they don't have revenue. And over 34,000 temples have less than 10,000 rupee income per year. And in 37,000 temples, there's only one person who does puja, caretaking, security, cleaning and the works, one guy. So you can imagine what state all these places are. But at the same time, we have over 500,000 acres of land under the temples. We have 2.33 crore square feet of buildings. But the revenue that we get is 128 crores per year. In that, 14% goes for auditing and management. 1 to 2% goes for puja and festivals, rest whatever, okay? Just to give you a contrast of this, the gurudwaras, the SG… what do you call it, SGPC, is it? SGPC. SGPC manages 85 gurudwaras. Their budget is over 1,000 crores per year. See what a great job they're doing in serving their community. 87% of Tamil Nadu's population is the Hindu community, but out of 44,000 temples, you get 128 crore rupee income.
Incredible.
So what to say about this management? Is there anything more to be said? They have submitted in the High Court, nothing more to say. That's enough, nobody has to make any other research, and UNESCO is saying it's in a state of decay. Decay is the word. So, if you leave it like this, temples were not places of worship in India. Temples were not just places of prayer. There was worship, but not a place of prayer. It is a powerhouse. For different aspects of life, they created different types of energy. There's a whole science about it. If you want me to put it in context, there are 5-element temples. For different elements, for water, earth, air, space and fire, there are different 5 temples. This is supposed to serve the whole region. These 5 temples should, operate in tandem, doing various processes to create a certain sense of well-being in the human beings who live in that region. So I happened to be in one of them a few years ago. I asked them, are you doing something together? They said, no, we are all separate management. Then I said, your situation is like this. Your father was a rich man, he had a Rolls Royce and he died. 5 sons, each one of you took one wheel and you're rolling it and you think you have a Rolls Royce. What is the problem with you? Because the beauty of these temples is, these are sadhana temples. That means you don't go there and worship and pray and ask for this and that. This is a place where you're supposed to go and work. The water in your body, the earth in your body, the fire and air and space in your body, you're supposed to work with it because the most fundamental aspect of yoga is called bhuta shuddhi. That means to cleanse the elements within you, your health, your well-being, your intelligence, your access in the world, everything is determined by this. The entire yogic process, the foundations are bhuta shuddhi, all practices are only towards this. So they built powerhouses to do this kind of work. But today, you're running it like some kind of a business because you say temple, people say revenue, people say property. It's very symbolic because when East India Company took over the temples, they put all the temples under the revenue department, very appropriate. So it has to change. Above all, it's your fundamental right that why is it a community is denied to have their own places of worship. They say, no, they will mismanage. You're telling me among the 87% of Tamil Nadu's population, you can't find 25 people and form a board who are responsible enough and competent enough to manage this? Is that what you're saying?
Is there a specific model though, Sadhguru? Yes, it is one thing to say that, let the community manage the temples, but is there a specific model that needs to be implemented that can be replicated for all of these temples that you are offering?
So, if you want to look at models, there are many ways to look at it. Till now, people have not thought like this because when the East India Company took over, what condition temples were in? They were vibrant places. That's why so many have been built. Every one of them was full of activity. And they were full of wealth, gold, diamonds, everything. So they swept it clean. I'm not interested in the gold diamond business. The important thing is, this is the spiritual soul of Tamil people. This has to come alive. So how do you manage it? So they will say, one basic argument in Tamil Nadu is, oh, again the Brahmin community will take over, they will discriminate against everybody. See, these things have happened only in the last 200 years. Before that, Brahmin community was not owning and managing the temple. They were only taking care of the puja part of it. Why was it done that way? You must understand, everything else also was done that way, that was our reality of the time. You want to open a goldsmith shop, you had to be an achari to do that. You want to be a carpenter, you have to be another kind of achari. You want to be in the army, you have to be a kshatriya. Otherwise, you know the whole story of Karna and the whole ruckus about that. What is it? He is not a kshatriya, so you can't be in the army. But today, if you join your NDA, no matter what caste or creed or religion you are, can you join the Indian army? Why can't we do the same? First thing is competence, another thing is you must have devotion in the heart. See, right now if you want to join Indian army, first thing is you must have a devotion for the country, that you're willing to lay down your life if it comes to that. Next thing is competence. Competence can be given by training. What you need is fundamentally devotion. So are there no people with devotion? All you have to do is run a school. Run a school. 2 years, 4 years training is needed, run for different types of temples, there are different processes. We can train, we will not ask you what your caste and creed is. I'm not saying handover means tomorrow morning hand it over. Start the process. First thing is express the intent. I'm raising this before the election, but I did not raise just that one thing, I raised 5 points. I said, Kaveri should run for 12 months. Right now, 5 months in a year it's dry, fully dry. They're going on talking about delta farmers. Where is a delta when the river is not flowing? What… we're just talking rubbish, I'm saying. Where is the delta when the river is not flowing? It's dry for 5 months, 175 kilometers inland it dries up. A river which has run for millennia, many millennia, today in the last 50 years it's drying up, and now last year 175 kilometers, every year it is going back 1-2 kilometers where it dries up. I've been joking with people who are fighting, but Karnataka people are not letting out the water. I said, see, you fight for some more time. In another 30-40 years' time, there'll be no Kaveri, so no fight.
No fight.
At least, nothing to fight about. See, to fight also you need some wealth and something, right? If you have nothing, what will you fight about? Already delta farmers, from 4 crops in a year, they've come to 1. That 1 will go if you go on like this. So instead of fighting between the both of you, because river does not know whether you speak Kannada or Tamil. River has been flowing forever, you divided your states the way you want, it's fine. For whatever administrative convenience, you've done it. But please understand, these 2 states have to get together, set up a commission, how to make the river flow for 12 months of the year. That's what you need to look at, not how much I drink and you drink. But this is politically popular to talk. Okay, we will… Karnataka, suddenly election time comes, some hotshot will say, we will just keep the Kaveri totally here, Tamil people, they won't get a drop of water, so that guy gets elected there. Here somebody says, we'll burst the dams and have river come to us, we will drink up everything, that guy will win the election. This bluster has to stop. Election time means it has become meaningless rhetoric and simply bluster. We want to see some reason and commitment to what you want to do. So essentially I came out with 5 points about Kaveri, about education, about skill development and about investments coming into Tamil Nadu and the temple issue. And I said, Please, this is like I'm trying to develop a citizen's manifesto. Why are political parties telling us what they will do? Please ask us what we want. Responsible citizens in the state stand up and say, this is what we want. When we say this is what we want, you tell us whether you can do it or not. Why are you telling us what you will do to us? You're not kings, you're democratically elected leaders. Pre-election, every citizen, responsible citizen should stand up and say, this is what we want in our state. Then they can say whether they can do it or not do it. So I am saying when it comes to the temples, I have an elaborate process, but don't talk about the process now. First express the intent. Yes, we are willing to look at it. We want to hand it over to the community. When it'll happen, it may take 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I'm okay. But let the process start. First thing is at least to appoint a commission so that you start examining how to hand over, what is the process. Well, if you want models, the models that I say may be shocking for a lot of people, but I am because I am committed to success. If you do something, it must be successful. I am saying, why don't you look at BCCI as a model? Why don't you look at CII as a model? Why don't you look at Gurudwara thing only as a model? These are all models. You can develop a hybrid of your own for the complexity of what exists here. But irrespective of caste and creed, a temple should be open to everybody, not only open as a devotee, even to manage and also do the spiritual part of it, also it must be open to everybody if they have devotion in their heart and willing to train themselves for what they need to do there. This is all that matters, this is the future. You can't be still talking the old problem, oh, Brahmins will take over, Brahmins will dominate. Why will they dominate? If you set up a right kind of procedure, and if they also happen to be there, what's your problem? You are here, what is my problem? See, did anybody ask? When something is successful, you must understand these things get demolished. Did anybody ask what is Tendulkar's caste? Nobody cares how many centuries is all they're counting, right? This is what should happen to every aspect of our life. What is the success? What is your track record? Then who cares what is your caste?